staying on time, which is great. We're going to move on to the second question, which focuses on climate action and Ottawa's ability to prepare for and respond to extreme weather. I know this is an issue that is very top of mind for many of us, still dealing with the consequences of the different kind of extreme weather events that we've had over the summer. So the question is, what are the top 2 actions that you will take in your first term to both keep Ottawa on track to meet its net zero commitments and make the city more resilient to climate impacts that are already here, especially for vulnerable residents? Now please be specific about the tools that the city controls. Who would like to answer this question? We have 3 candidates and 4 or 5, okay. Perfect. We will start. We're going to do this thing back and forth again. We're going to start over here with Ali. No worries. The time is not starting.
So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make sure that work with areas like, for example, Hydro Ottawa. People who work with, who live in the West know that Hydro Ottawa is not fixing their lines. They're keeping them up, and every time there's a storm, we have issues. I'm going to be working with all party levels to make sure that we're able to actually have a proper setup there for us. Because a lot of times, as I said, we're seeing that their profits are there, they're making lots of money, but it's not being spent on the people of Ottawa. So I'm going to make sure we're going to bring that back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Climate change is real. We're experiencing it. We need to have responsibilities to both mitigate against its impacts on our existing residents, and we also have a moral obligation to continue to try to keep it from getting worse. Thank you. With respect to trying to prevent it from getting any worse, the top 2 actions for me are, and many of you read my platform, public transit is probably the most important part. When I'm there, I am going to get that on the right track. And the second piece of it is actually the fleet electrification. It gives my heart great joy to see so many new electric buses on our roads, and our roads are more pleasant as a result, frankly. With respect to the mitigation side, now that climate change is making its impact felt in a very real way in Ottawa, I would suggest we do need to emphasize more the green infrastructure, infrastructure that is able to deal with things like the flooding that we saw recently. And then we also have to do a much better job. I have been so frustrated as a city councillor, both with Mayor Watson and with Sutcliffe, with respect to the lack of things like 24/7 cooling centers. We have an ad hoc approach to helping the most vulnerable through climate emergencies, and that has to change. Thank you.
On the topic, I want to start on the topic of emissions, reducing emissions, and everyone in this room understands the importance of that, is committed to that. The challenge we have is that there's a lot of people that just are no longer on board with that message. They say, if other places around the world are abandoning their climate goals, why should we stick to it? Like, how can Ottawa make a possible impact? And so this is where I think we need to change the channel a little bit and say, reducing emissions can actually be a good thing for households in terms of saving money. And so one of the things that I want to do is introduce a new building retrofit or home retrofit program that makes it much easier for households across the city to be able to do retrofits and save money on their household bills, and in the process reduce emissions. And buildings are the #1 source of emissions in the city. And then on resilience, we just talked about urban boundary expansion and the sort of money that we're looking at putting into a place like Taywin, $600 million. We need to be investing in the current infrastructure that we have and making sure that that is up to standard. So for instance, the flooding that happened probably in this neighborhood too, and many other neighborhoods in the West, we knew about this. We knew this was coming. There were city studies that said that the stormwater capacity in areas like Crystal Beach were just not sufficient. And yet we chose not to invest in that because we were worried more about, well, we were more concerned about expanding the urban boundary. So we need to invest in what the infrastructure we have as opposed to moving outward. Thank you.
Please go ahead.
All right, to start with, on the commission for the city of Ottawa, it's too small to make any difference. Because you need the whole country in order to get together on this one here. What we can do is, number one, to encourage, reduce, reuse, and recycle. That's number one. The second one is encourage the new homes, or most of the homes, doesn't matter, new or old, to put solar power on their garages. And this way here, you could save some power. And if you don't use it, especially now with all the cars mostly running on electricity, so you could use that system from the solar power in order to get, reduce your bills. And if you get anything extra, it will be put back to the grid. So that's number two. Number three, building more dry ponds and building new ditches to reduce any weather. So if you build those three ponds around the city corridors, and you're trying to direct the water from the ditches so it doesn't get on to any, like what happened last time at Mooney stations. If the city there would have done their job properly, we wouldn't be having that kind of rivers going on. As you've seen it in the video, it's a huge, now, they have to rebuild it, and it's gonna take maybe 4 months, 3 months in order to put all the stuff to prevent it. And number four, to resident and commercial area. So what we have to do in order to get all, the stuff, in order to protect any residential or commercials from, the warning. So we have to build a warning system in place if there's anything happen too quickly, so it will be activated to warn the people around the area, because sometimes the weather environments, sometimes they issue too many warnings, or they don't issue it, they're asleep on the job. So what you have to do, we cannot rely on them, we have to rely on the city to build, so that way they could have a warning to activate it to warn the people, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. You're an excellent moderator. I'm going to keep this fast and energy efficient, so I'm not wasting microphone energy. In Ottawa, we have something that shows us that climate change is happening, and that's the lack of days that we can skate on the canal. So we're basically the canary in the coal mine here, right? So let's solve this, because a couple years ago we couldn't skate on it at all, and that was very sad. We're losing it. Here's a solution, here's an idea that could solve all of this. Laneways, they don't have to be concrete. You know how you can make them like green with a little grid on them and you have grass growing in them? Not only does that absorb emissions and help with climate change, it also helps us adapt because it absorbs heat, so the neighborhood is less hot, we don't have to use as much air conditioning, it absorbs the water from the flooding. I've had so many friends message me to ask me to come over and help them take stuff out of their basement because their basements are flooding. Like, what is going on in the city? And we could give big tax breaks to people who do this with their laneways, and that way it keeps neighborhoods cooler, and even just makes the neighborhoods nicer, because resilience involves mental resilience. If you can be happier in your neighborhood around nature and trees, that helps you even just deal with the psychology of climate change. So that's another way of being resilient. And what if people want a parking lot, or they want to develop a parking lot and have it with their condo? How about they have to have it green in order to do it? Let's make that rule. Like, I don't want to see any more asphalt parking lots sitting there reflecting heat and blowing water back into the river. Let's make them all green, and just that one idea could pretty much solve a lot of this problem.
You want to answer this question as well? You don't have to. Okay.
I'm going to
You will not.
So, yes, I'm not going to answer the other two, but I will answer question number 3, transportation board.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
We're in question number 2.
Yeah, I will answer that one.
Okay. Let's move over to the final candidate.
Okay, I just want to quickly say one thing, that I believe we should be overhauling all phases of our waste management. I think it's terrible. Green bin's been a joke since day one. We all know recycling isn't done. The bare fact that we send our cardboard to India is outrageous. Just stop sending our cardboard to India would cut so much emissions, we wouldn't have to do anything else. We should also build an incinerator, a trail road. We need a waste to energy incinerator. That's all I have to add. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.